What if the cheapest SUV in its class ends up costing you more than the expensive ones? The 2026 Dacia Bigster looks like an incredible bargain, but the real price is hidden where most buyers never look. Welcome back to Supercar. Today we're exposing the 2026 Dacia Bigster price trap. On paper, it's one of the best value SUVs you can buy, but once you factor in the hidden compromises, extra costs, and long-term ownership, that bargain starts to disappear. If you're thinking about buying one, watch this first. It could save you thousands. What if the cheapest family SUV ends up costing you more than the competition? The Bigster grabs attention with a starting price of just $25,215, thousands less than rivals like the Nissan Qashqai or Kia Sportage. But here's the catch. That price is for the basic model. Most buyers choose the Journey or Extreme trims, pushing the price to around $27,000, while the popular Hybrid starts at $28,190. Before you've even driven it, the budget advantage is already shrinking. Here's the part dealerships rarely mention. Start adding a few options and the price climbs quickly. Metallic paint, a black roof, and a couple of extras can push the Bigster to $31,000. At that point, you're competing with SUVs like the MG HS, Citroën C5 Aircross, and Ford Kuga, cars that offer better refinement, higher quality interiors, and stronger resale value. The Bigster only looks like a bargain if you stick to the base model. Would you still buy this SUV if its safety rating made you think twice? The Dacia Bigster has a 3-star Euro NCAP rating, well behind most rivals that score 4 or 5 stars. Dacia says it meets all legal requirements, and that's true. But meeting the minimum isn't the same as offering class-leading protection. A lower safety rating can also mean higher insurance costs, and in a serious crash, those missing stars could matter far more than the money you saved. For a family SUV, that's a compromise you shouldn't ignore. Imagine paying £25,000 for an interior that feels like it belongs in a commercial van. Step inside the Bigster, and the cost-cutting becomes impossible to ignore. The dashboard trim feels like it was produced on a cheap 3D printer. The plastics are hard, scratchy, and unapologetically rugged. Dacia calls it honest and authentic. I call it cheap because that's exactly what it is. Now I understand the philosophy. Strip away the unnecessary fluff and give people what they need. But there's a difference between minimalism and outright cheapness. The wind noise at motorway speeds is intrusive. The hybrid powertrain can feel clunky and unrefined. The steering is vague and woolly. These aren't minor quirks you learn to love. They're daily compromises that remind you, every single time you drive, exactly where Dacia saved that money. And after 6 months of ownership, those compromises start to feel a lot more expensive than the price gap suggests. What good is a massive boot if the car can't even do the one thing you bought it for? Practicality is supposed to be the Bigster's trump card. It's enormous. The boot swallows up to 677 liters. Rear legroom is generous. It's a genuinely useful family hauler. But here's the trap. It only seats 5. No 7-seat option exists, not even as a costly upgrade. Dacia claims they didn't want to spoil the design or comfort. But let's be honest. A family SUV in this size class without a third row is a missed opportunity. The Jogger, which costs significantly less, offers 7 seats. If you have a growing family or occasionally need to carry extra kids, the Bigster forces you to look elsewhere. So now you're paying nearly £30,000 for a big box that can't even match the versatility of its cheaper sibling. That's not value. That's a compromise dressed up as a feature. Let me show you why the hybrid engine everyone wants comes with a hidden catch that could ruin your road trips. The 155 horsepower hybrid is the engine most buyers should want. It promises nearly 58 miles per gallon and effortless around-town driving. But there's a catch, and it's a big one. If you want four-wheel drive, you cannot have the hybrid. The 4x4 system is reserved exclusively for the less powerful 130 horsepower petrol engine. So if you live in a rural area, face harsh winters, or plan to tow anything substantial, you're forced to choose between fuel economy and capability. The front-wheel drive hybrid can only tow 1,000 kilograms braked, while the four-wheel drive petrol model handles 1,500. That means hybrid buyers are stuck with a drivetrain that's clunky on the highway and useless off it. Dacia made you choose, and neither choice is particularly satisfying. Here's the financial reality that will sting you long after you've driven off the forecourt. Let's talk about depreciation and resale value, because this is where the price trap really snaps shut. Dacia has built a brand on being cheap. That's not an insult. It's their entire business model. But cheap brands do not hold value well. When you try to sell or trade in your Bigster in 3 or 4 years, the market will not reward you for those options you added. It will punish you for the badge on the grill. Meanwhile, a Nissan Qashqai or Kia Sportage, which cost more upfront, will return a significantly larger percentage of their original price when it's time to move on. So that initial £5,000 saving, it gets eaten up by faster depreciation, higher insurance costs from the 3-star safety rating, and the sheer frustration of living with a car that feels cheap every single day. Before you sign on the dotted line, ask yourself one simple question. So, is the 2026 Dacia Bigster a bad car? No, it's honest, it's spacious, and it's undeniably practical. But is it the bargain it pretends to be? Absolutely not. Once you move past the headline price, add the trim level and engine you actually need, factor in the safety shortcomings, the interior quality, the missing 7-seat option, and the long-term depreciation, the Bigster starts to look less like a steal and more like a compromise. If you genuinely have a hard ceiling of £25,000 and you can live with the base model's limitations, it makes sense. But for everyone else, the price trap is real and it's waiting at the dealership. That's our deep dive into the 2026 Dacia Bigster. If this video saved you from a costly mistake, smash that like button and subscribe to Super. For more brutally honest reviews every week, drop a comment below. Would you still buy the Bigster? Or has this changed your mind? Let's talk in the comments and I'll catch you in the next one.